Meet up close and personal the great political consultant, fighter for social justice, Don Rose. Welcome to The Greatness in You. I'm Will Horton. Today, our topic is fairness. Joining me today to talk about fairness is Don Rose. Welcome to The Greatness in You, Don.
Thanks for the invitation.
You've been a political consultant, among many hats you've worn over the years, but I'm most impressed with your political consulting for our late Mayor Harold Washington. Tell me about your experience with the early Washington years.
Well, it was very exciting. Harold and I had been friends for many years. When he was in the legislature, we often talked and exchanged ideas and so on. And then I was around when he made his first bid for mayor, shortly after the death of Mayor Daley. And that was sort of the breaking in period, as happened with so many African-American mayors during the 60s. They had to do a kind of a dry run first and lose. Mm-hmm. Not that they wanted to lose, but yes. they would lose. The only one who won immediately was Richard Hatcher, and Gary, whose campaign I also did. But I've always liked Harold. Harold was one of the few so-called machine Democrats who used to participate in the civil rights movement. The others were all verboten by Mayor Daley, the other African-American office holders. And I was one of those who I think helped talk him into making the run finally against Jane Byrne in '79. I'm sorry, in '83. I had previously run Jane Byrne's campaign successfully and became disillusioned with her very quickly, as did so many progressives and African Americans, and was delighted when Harold, who was going back and forth, finally decided to do it because I knew statistically he had a chance in a three-way race. And we knew that Rich Daley was going to run against Jane Byrne, and the three-way situation presented a perfect opportunity. And of course, as history says now, it worked.
I must admit that I was very happy to see you involved in that race. You was the best that money could buy.
Well, I wish money bought me, but it was a marvelous experience. I paid a token amount for expenses. I did not take a salary from Harold, as many consultants might. I really was interested in getting this thing done, and I wanted him to be able to spend every dime on television, which was going to be the telling thing, rather than give me my usual fat fee.
So it wasn't about money. He couldn't afford you then. Well, let's say that you were the best expert that he could find to run his campaign. And I would like to know, what was your strategy to get him elected?
Build the base, make Harold credible as a candidate in the African American community. African American community is very sophisticated, and if I may speak of an electorate,
yes.
If the candidate, even though he may be black running against a white of whatever repute,
right.
The candidate has to build a certain credibility. And one of those ways of building credibility was to get on television with paid commercials and look serious. And the other end of the strategy was to rally as much of the white progressive independent movement as possible. And that involved a little bit of selling, but not too much, because some of them knew that Harold had a so-called machine background and were wondering whether he was really going to be independent. And once we resolved that, it was a train moving. It was a slow train at first, and it gained momentum. You may, if you're old enough, remember the day when everyone downtown had that sunburst
yes.
pin on.
I do remember that time, and there was a lot of enthusiasm at that time. What has happened to this enthusiasm in the black community? for political power?
Well, it's very complicated. They ran into many situations. Let me say that had Harold lived, as you know, for most of his first term, he had this opposition bloc, which is very much like the House congressional opposition bloc to Barack Obama.
Exactly.
And there was little tangible he could accomplish. And by the time he was able to actually legislate, rather than just give executive orders, which are limited, he died. And I tell you, many of us were very angry at him for dying because we saw this man not paying attention to his health. Close personal friend of mine was his personal doctor. I hate to relive those moments, but I believe had Harold lived, he would have gone on to become a great mayor and would have continued to build an enthusiasm in the African American constituency. Mm-hmm. And as a result of his death and the subsequent victory by Rich Daley in the special election, where the African American community was divided, if you'll remember, between Gene Sawyer and Tim Evans.
Tim Evans, right.
That division, which caused the loss, I think was a permanent scar on the body politic that was not really reconstituted until the days of Barack Obama.
Yes. We have to take a short break. Stay with us. Are you living your best life? Have you become the best that you can be? Are you living your dreams and giving rise to the greatness in your life? Call me for one-to-one success and greatness consulting. 773-445-2400.
Discover the personal powers that unlock the genius and greatness in you. Will Horton, author of the Wisdom for Greatness series, has written a breakthrough book, The 30 Power Principles, 30 life-changing principles that will help to give birth to your greatness. The 30 Power Principles can help you awaken and bring forth infinite possibilities for happiness, health, success, and greatness. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
The 52 Principles for Successful Living, Keys to Success and Victorious Living by Will Horton will elevate your mind, lift your spirit, and take you to the pinnacle of success. They provide the key to success. They will connect you to the power of your higher self. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
Welcome back. We're talking about fairness with political consultant and a fighter for social justice, Don Rose. Fairness brings forth peace, happiness, and success for all. Number 1, make fairness your golden rule. Fairness reveals your character. Number 2, when you are fair, you treat others in a way that is high-minded and right. The just and honorable treatment of others is the most direct way to happiness and success for all. Number 3, your behavior and treatment of others should be the way you want to be treated, with honesty and fairness. Whatever you do, no matter the cost, be fair. Let's hear what people on the street are saying about today's hot topic.
being fair to each other, it just comes with morals. If you need to look at your morals and how you approach right and wrong.
You can try your best to be fair, but no matter what you do, you're never going to be perfect.
We're human. We're not, every single person is not a different race. We're all human.
It's right to be fair and just know what's good, like have good morals and know what needs to be done.
We have to take a short break. When we return, we'll hear what our friends on Facebook are saying about fairness. Do you have a desire to help people live better lives? Become a certified greatness coach and speaker. Call 773-445-2400 for the next one-day greatness course.
The ABCs of Success, A to Z Rules and Action Steps for Success by Will Horton will help give rise to victorious living. They will help you condition your mind for success, keep a positive attitude, get in the success zone, achieve success and victory. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
Wisdom Keys, Great Proverbs and Sayings by Will Horton is a 4-book collection of timeless proverbs and sayings that provide sage advice and guidance for successful living. They are a fountain of knowledge that will inspire, motivate, and empower you to achieve greatness. Book 1, Ability to Extraordinary. Book 2, Failure to Knowledge. Book 3, Lack to Purpose. Book 4, Quarrel to You. Will Horton's Proverbs and Sayings are rules of conduct for successful living. Buy the 4-book set at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400. Shipping is free.
Welcome back. Let's go to Facebook and see what people are saying about fairness.
I'm Crescencia Felty, and today on Facebook, Alicia said, "Live so that when your children think of fairness, caring, and integrity, they think of you." Jason said, "Fairness is not an attitude, it's a professional skill that must be developed and exercised." And Philip said, "The future which we hold in trust for our own children will only be shaped by our fairness to other people's children."
Thanks, Crescencia. Let's learn wisdom for a healthy you. Welcome to A Healthy You. I'm Will Horton. I'm at the offices of Dr. Kara Burns. Dr. Burns will share with us information that will help us become healthy and wise.
Fluoride is very important to strengthen our teeth, to strengthen the enamel, which is the outer layer of our teeth, to protect it from the formation of tooth decay. Unfortunately, we all love bottled water, but it does not contain fluoride. Our Chicago tap water does. And if we're concerned about the other metals like lead, like mercury and other heavy metals, well, we can use a filter. For instance, the Brita filter will not filter out the fluoride, but it will filter out all those other heavy metals.
We have to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to get up close and personal. Don Rose. Stay with us.
Make your child head of the class. Head of the Class Early Childhood Development Center, 1900 East 87th Street, Chicago. Committed to excellence in education. Call 773-721-7500.
Wisdom Keys for Greatness, Rules of Success for Teens, book and workbook by Will Horton will get you ready for success. Rules of Success for Teens prepares you for future success and greatness. The rule of conduct for tomorrow's success is to prepare for it today. Be ready to board the success train when it stops at your station in life. Buy them at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400 for free shipping. Martin Luther King Jr. is a hero, an inspirational book for children from early childhood through middle and late childhood. Martin Luther King Jr. is a hero will help parents and children better plan their life's journey, aim, and destination. The book will help young children give birth to their dreams. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400. As always, shipping is free.
My name is Dominique, and I want to be a psychiatric doctor. And I want to be in law enforcement. A professional football player.
A marine biologist.
Be a lawyer.
I want to be a veterinarian.
A teacher.
To be a doctor. I want to be a songwriter.
If you know your abilities and you believe you can, you eventually will. Don't just be ordinary. I want you to become extraordinary. The key is that you have to awaken this greatness.
Not only that you have to have goals, but you have to work towards them.
I learned that the first step to success is to believe in myself and always keep going on with your dreams and never let go of them.
Choose your friends correctly, because if you don't, you can go down the wrong path.
For Success Camp information, call 773-445-2400.
Welcome back. I have the great political consultant and fighter for social justice, Don Rose, with me. Don, during the 60s, you worked in the civil rights movement, and you later worked as press secretary to the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes.
Tell me about that experience. That must have been a great time for you.
Well, people who can remember back to the early 60s when all kinds of things were happening in civil rights all over the country. The great breakthrough with Dr. King, with SNCC, CORE, and those organizations working in the South. And we had a parallel movement up here in the North. And it fought for greater justice in the schools and so on and so forth. People may remember school boycotts. And we were very well organized eventually with an organization called the CCCO, the Coordinating Council of Community Organizations. And when Dr. King decided to open up a northern front, he examined all of the different cities and their civil rights movements, and he found that ours was fortunately the best organized, and decided to make Chicago his first foray into the North. I had been the press secretary for the CCCO, and when it merged with Dr. King's movement, I grew into it. This is one of the great and most thrilling moments of my life. Also, a tremendous responsibility, having to be in many ways responsible for speeches and guidance to Dr. King about Chicago and the local media and the differences. And it was just a very heady experience, even though I was a mature man. And it was a great learning experience as well as a doing experience.
How do you see the Don Rose legacy?
Well, I feel I have helped many important people achieve their goals. I think that's the best way. I am not the guy in the forefront. I helped Harold Washington, helped Dr. King, helped many congressmen, mayors, senators, and so on. I did not play a significant role with Barack Obama, although I had met with him in the course of his Senate campaign and so on. My protege, David Axelrod, is his great guru, and I like to think that I, over the years, helped David Axelrod become David Axelrod.
When did you make the decision to work for the betterment of people to contribute to the greater good?
You know, I can't remember a time when I was not interested in social justice and politics. Even at age 7, 8, I read a great deal. I had experiences with African Americans early on that led me to believe that their fight was really my fight as well. I had always been interested in politics. I used to listen to the fireside chats of Franklin Roosevelt. And it's always been just sort of a natural evolution with me. I can't say I made a decision. I fell into certain situations as they arose, but I didn't say, this is what I'm going to do. I just grew into it.
Let's talk about this evolution, because your life could have been different. Because as a teenager, you had an addiction.
Yes, I was, my main interest as a teenager was in playing jazz, and I was in the early circles of the bebop revolution, and everyone in my circle there wanted to be like Charlie Parker, and unfortunately, one of the aspects of being like Charlie Parker was sticking a needle in one's arm. Had I not had an accident that smashed up my mouth in my late teens, which ended my music career and moved me in another direction, I could have wound up a dead junkie. It's, again, an accident. I smashed my mouth. That was it. And many, many times our lives are shaped by the accidental and the incidental rather than the planned.
Don has much more to share with us. When we come back, we're going to find out what life lessons he's learned.
For the best in limousine service, ride with a Butler. Call Butler Limousine, 708-758-5466.
Are you living your best life? Have you become the best that you can be? Are you living your dreams and giving rise to the greatness in your life? Call me for one-to-one success and greatness consulting. 773-445-2400.
The 52 Principles for Successful Living, Keys to Success and Victorious Living by Will Horton will elevate your mind, lift your spirit, and take you to the pinnacle of success. They provide the key to success. They will connect you to the power of your higher self. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400 for free shipping. The Biblical Success Principles, The Laws and Power of God by Will Horton is a theology of success. The Biblical Success Principles book and study guide can be used to bring forth God's will and purpose for your life. Buy them at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400 for free shipping. Make your child head of the class. Head of the Class Early Childhood Development Center, 1900 East 87th Street, Chicago. Committed to excellence in education. Call 773-721-7500.
Do you have a desire to help people live better lives? Become a certified greatness coach and speaker. Call 773-445-2400 for the next one-day greatness course.
Welcome back. We're talking about fairness with Don Rose. What are some life lessons you've learned, Don?
Well, I think the most important lesson I have learned is to study your opponent's point of view. Whoever you are trying to persuade bring over to your side or neutralize. Learn the way they view the world and learn their arguments and begin to look at life in from their perspective so that you can better understand the way to meet and deal with them and present your argument rather than just from the original position you had. I think that's probably number one. The other is to study as widely as possible. One never knows what one learns academically or through your own reading or whatever that is going to play a part in your later life. For example, I had a small industrial film business back in the late 50s. It wasn't successful, but I learned a great deal. Little did I know that a decade or more later, I would be making political commercials. And that training, that work served greatly to enhance the work I was doing. So you never know how something is going to come in handy. And for example, even though I'm a political consultant, I never took a political science course in school. I learned history, sociology, literature, and all of these things really played a larger part in what I was to do with my life than numbers crunching in a political science course.
Don, you have experienced so many successes. Give me some advice, some quick advice for teens.
I think the most important advice I could give young people is to learn to believe in yourself and understand that you can overcome almost any obstacle. Believe that you can win and set your goals that way, and the path will find itself.
Good advice for us all. Thanks, Don. And thank you for joining us on The Greatness in You. I want to hear from you. Send me your success stories or comments about success and greatness. Email me at willhorton@the30powerprinciples.com. Friend me on Facebook at Will Horton. Follow me on Twitter at Will_Horton. Like us on Facebook. I look forward to meeting you one day and hearing about your journey to success and greatness. Remember, you have to give birth to the greatness in you.
This has been a W. Wharton production.